Yes, yawareuru ahinya. Ageno chiemo maber kabisa. Kendo kwak wachaka ni kawuono adwa ni wagane mbaka matin kiny ma kawuono mondo wawinj to kare piny Kenya to chomo kune. Nikech kwang'iyo kaka gik moko osebedo e Kenya, waneno ka nitiere tungni mang'eny kendo ok ber ahinya. Kendo koro kawuono aparo ni dhi chuna mondo ati gi kizungu mondo mi obed maber, mondo mi ji mang'eny owinji kendo ji o understand. Well, when we talk about the issue of fuel issue, it's something that is touching almost everybody, and we cannot afford to lie to ourselves that there is a particular group of people who are okay or doing very good. But this one is the making of certain group whereby they feel that they should do some kind of exclusion so that it be felt that this one it is only to this tribe or so and so. But the issue of tribalism is the only problem that is affecting us mostly as Kenyans. But how can you be able to tame this kind of vice to ensure that we don't go past this kind of problem that we have? Currently, last, like I can remember in 2024 when we talked about the finance bill, there were so many things that were wrong, but they were never corrected, and they end up passing almost everything. Today, I want us now to look at a little bit of the finance bill so that we can see what are the problems that may have come and why are things very expensive the way it is, and who is responsible and who should do what. In 2022, as I was campaigning to be a member of parliament, I knew very well that the sole role of an MP is legislation, oversight, and representation. But that never came, because we always say that in Kenya, everything, people believe that you have to belong to a given political party because you come from a given region. So right now, the fuel prices have hiked, and Makio, the people who are in the Sufuria movement, are now the people who are being questioned. Now the ball is now on their court that they are supposed to play, but they are not doing anything. Like, I want us to go through and see whether are these experts helping the way they should. Because right now, we know that energy is a crucial docket. That if the price of energy goes up, then we expect that the cost of production to go up, and what that one will result into the prices of commodity also going up. But right now we see that we are now blaming the president. As we blame the president, we know that the person who is supposed to be responsible and do what is right is the MPs, because they're supposed to go to parliament and legislate. Because without that, it means that it might be a little bit difficult, because sometimes things don't work because we know that our MPs are loyal to the parties, political parties that we have. If what happens when an MP only talks about political parties, there are a few things that might happen. One, there will be no legislation that is proper, because they'll just pass things hurriedly. Because sometimes you see that the current MPs that we have, an MP goes to parliament, an MP votes yes, then the same guy comes when now things are now tough in the village where he comes from. He also joined these people saying that there is a problem somewhere. But to Makio, this person was there. So as a country, there are few things that we're supposed to do. When we do legislation as the people of Kenya, we must ensure we do it properly without looking at who is seated there. Or do I belong to this political party, or I belong to the other one? When you talk about only your political party, there are things that might not work the way you may. And this one might bring a lot of problems that may end up resulting into something that you never expected. Let us just look at the cost of fuel around the country so that you can be able to ascertain that life is a little bit difficult. When we talk about when we look at the cost of fuel, like almost everywhere, we see that the cost of the fuel has really skyrocketed. That seemingly it is very expensive, almost the whole of East Africa. We have the most expensive fuel right now. Even though the president says that we have several roles to maintain, but do you have to maintain roles with collecting tax around 50% of the cost? I believe that there is something that can be done. So it is the time whereby we can reduce our expenditure, because there are so many things that we don't need. There are a lot of wastage in the government. Why will the president work with over 300 cars? Why will be the CS? Almost every CS accompanying everywhere, because we know the repercussion of that kind of expenditure. Why do we have to finance the political parties yet they don't help in any way? Why? Because when you look at all these parties, they barely participate in anything apart from printing t-shirts and organize rallies to insult other aspirants out from somewhere, not knowing that the money that they're using in those particular places belongs to the taxpayers. Why will you allocate money in the name of bursary instead of allocating this money direct to schools so that we can have what is called the free education? Because when you allocate money in terms of bursary, this money will be used in terms of bursary forms. Because these bursary forms, they are not given for free. There must be somebody somewhere who must be able to print them. And when this person prints them, then it means this person also have to be paid. When you look at the committee that set to distribute this bursary, the committee also are paid because that is their work now. Why would we need 290 CDF managers? And yet there is a way in which we can do it because already we have the money, the Ministry of Education, and we have almost everybody at those levels. So that alone tells you that there is a problem somewhere that needs to be fixed. If these problems are not fixed the way it should, then we must be prepared for the worst. Because seemingly, when you say that you want to go for presidency, you want to vie for a political post, it's you have to have what is called the conviction, and you must be able to understand what is the role of this particular person, and what does it come with. It does not necessarily mean that you just have to wake up and do anything the way it should. It means you must do it properly at the right time and the way it should have been done. Sometimes you go to the schools and wonder why the schools need buses. Because if you count the number of times that they go out, it is counted. So the bus is majorly used as a source of income, of which never help even the parents or even the school. Because you get that somebody hires that bus for some funerals, yet this bus, it is repaired, it is managed by the school. If that is the sole purpose why you need another bus, or you need a bus, then I would rather build laboratories, proper classrooms, to avoid the issue of allocation of 1 million, 2 million. No. Why would you just distribute 1 million to every school? Because I know an MP is given around 150, 160 million, depending on the budget, because there is what is called the percentage. Now, as the people, what are the things that we should ensure that is done? Because there is this particular thing. If it is not done, then we as the people, we might end up not getting the right leaders. One, the leaders should be able to understand and do things the way they should. As an MP, as a senator, as a governor, MCA or women rep, why don't you just follow your role? Because you as an individual, you know what you're supposed to do, so that you avoid what is called the populist politics. Because it is this populist politics that takes us behind, whereby you get that a governor is distributing money in the name of handout, saying, in law we call it gone. This money, where do these people get it from? If it is not from corrupt deals. Because if you give 200 shillings for 1,000 people, that is 200,000. But remember, these people, they don't go for one meeting in a month or one meeting in a day. They end up giving almost around 2,000 or even 500. And then leave alone that one, they have not talked about the funerals that they have sent their representative. Such kind of monies, where do these people get them from? And in the first place, why do you have to wait for somebody to die to contribute? Because there are so many things that you could have done before somebody dies. Why don't you just say, okay, so and so is sick, yes, then let us contribute and ensure that this person gets proper medication. As a leader, as a governor, why don't you ensure that there is medication within your county? If you look at even the funeral that the leaders goes to, you will realize that even most of these people were never treated in those hospitals in that area. They seek medication somewhere elsewhere, though they were sick from home. What does that tell you? that means there is a way in which things never worked. So the person didn't make it. As people or as youth, what are the things that we are supposed to do to ensure we are moving, not like the way we have been doing things? And we have to do something to ensure things are moving. Because what I have come to realize is that things are not moving as we expected. Just to be honest. Because most of these MPs, you will never see them. Most of these leaders, actually not even MPs alone, you will never see them before the death strikes or before somebody problem have been shared. Once it has been aired, now you become the people's darling. They jump from place to place, they will be looking for you. That alone tells you that there is so many things that should have happened and yet they're not doing it. When we look at the situations that we have been into in the past, it was not that easy for us to have reached where we are today. We have made strides towards reaching these goals. Some of us, if we were the people who are supposed to fight for independence, the current leaders that we have now, I believe that we could still be having colonization in Africa. Because these leaders, one, they are only after their own interest. They are not interested in anything. The only thing that makes them happy is when they are earning. Some of them, when you look at what they are talking about in their rallies, they will have a lot of insult. And they will say vulgar language that even if you are there with people that you respect and the people that you fear that you will not want to hear them to hear such kind of words, you'll be ashamed. And it was very sad between the scenario that happened between the Honorable Gladys Wanga and the Governor James Orengo. These are two leaders. All of them are governors. The only difference is one is a male and a female. But did that have to reach that level? Because both of them made comments that were not okay. Governor Gladys Wanga should also be blamed. Governor Orengo should also be blamed. And then not only that, the Linda Ground team, they have been using what is called the vulgar language, starting from the likes of Dr. Lilian Gogo, the Makamu Makamu. When you listen to what they say, then you believe that there is somebody somewhere who is saying some things that should not have been said. You see, life is not all about being in power because we know that particular time we'll have to leave. The only problem is when are you leaving? And how do you leave that office? You can even leave the office the same way Rigiji left, the deputy governor of Homa Bay left, and many others, or even being voted out. Remember, these political offices, they don't belong to you as an individual. They belong to the people who elect you to those positions. But it only depends how you use your position. You can't say that today nobody can tell you anything. Tomorrow you want to lecture us. Then where are we heading? as a country. I've also heard this thing that when you talk this way, people say, "Oh, you're not in broad base, or you are a Gachagua person." No, I don't belong to neither both parties. I'm a citizen of Kenya, and we talk the truth the way it should be. I don't need to belong to any formation to be able to tell you the truth. But for sure, what I always remember that sometimes if you feel that I'm not the right candidate for that position, then you're always free to get your person. Because even me, I need better leadership. If I can offer this and then somebody else can offer something that is better, then we have to accept that person because all of us need what is called the continuity of a given place. It is very shameful when you see that in this 21st century, still mothers are sharing beds in hospitals. In this 21st century, people still don't have medicine in hospitals. In this 21st century, people still carry their loved ones when they passed away on motorcycles or just on their shoulders because the roads are impassable. People still are being still displaced by water because you cannot be able to construct the dikes and the bridges properly because you have to eat. Because you also need to consolidate money so that you come and bribe us during election. Come 2027, if you're not, if you still do things the same way, then I want to promise you here that I don't need to come and walk in every village, but I can reach every village by telling them the truth. And the truth is, you must go. Many leaders will have to accept that kind of reality that we've woken up. We are not those people who used to talked about the tribe so much to an extent that we could not be able to do anything. But right now, we can because we have the opportunity. It is my humble request that we as Kenyans and as youth stop being spectators and elect the right people because it is only the right people who can make a difference. As Mutahi Kagwe used to say that if we treat these people normally, then they always treat you. They will treat you abnormally. It is high time we treat them abnormally, not the way they are used to, so that they can learn the rule of the game. They are the majority, so that they can be able to legislate in a way that, because we know that youth are the future of this country. Most of these people who say they are youth, they are youth. They are not youth because it is the only difference is that they have small body, so they seem to be youth. When they work with wazés, they feel that they are the youth. The youth is somebody below the age, between the age of 18 and 35. That is the youth. We must ensure we get to the point that we can be elected so that we can legislate, we stop complaining. These people are thieves. They are stealing. Because where do somebody get that money to give you? In as much as they will say they do business, who is this person who will take money from his business to distribute? Because all businesses need profit. but who will take his business to help run a county, to help run a constituency, or to help paying your medical bills? Few. And the few that we have that can do that, they are not in position of leadership. But the people who are working and saying, oh, we want this and this, there is nobody called you. There is nobody called Kaleji. There is nobody called Louis. All we have individuals in those positions. Right now, we have the CS, the two CS. We can talk about Badi and we can talk about Wandai. Is there any Luo who has gone to a petrol station to buy fuel and get that the price is not 240, 232? Is there any Luo who has paid token and because his name is now Biam, he has been given more token than the other person? If they are in the same tariff, they will be given the same token. If they are in different tariffs, they will get different tokens because they will pay different amounts. We as the people of Kenya, we must be able to wake up and know that somebody being your tribesman does not guarantee you to get anything. I don't need to know the person who is the president. I don't need to know the person who is an MP. But what I need to know is what that person is doing. Because we are all taxpayers. And accountability starts from if I pay my tax, I would also want to get the services. Because nobody wants to get to the point whereby you pay, but you don't get the services. Because if you continue that way, then it means that we are moving in the wrong direction at a very fast speed. We as the people of this country, we may not like how things have been, but we are also contributing to that. Because if you could have accepted that things can change, actually, things could have changed. And we just have to do the right thing so that the right people can do it. That is the only way to manage this society. And I rest my case. Thank you for listening, and let's meet in our next podcast.